Hi everyone, my name's Natalie and here is a little video about the food court dining at Skegness, Butlins. It has been so many years since I've been to Butlins, but we decided to take the children this year. I wanted something that was all-inclusive, and the closest thing to that was the dining at Butlins. We went for the food court option. Food court is the cheapest option. There's also premium, and I think there's another one called Dine Around, which is at the restaurants on site rather than just one designated restaurant. Even though we went for the cheaper option, it still came to more or a very similar price to the holiday itself, to the accommodation. I think on one of them it was just a little bit cheaper, and on the rooms it ended up actually being more expensive. We paid £480 or thereabouts for 11 people for a Monday to Friday stay. I thought that was a really cheap option. It definitely is less than what we would spend if we were going to be dining out every single day there anyway. Even though we were in different apartments, so we were in the gold apartment and then we also booked the silver rooms too. We were both given Coral Beach as the restaurant to go to. We did go the first week of July, which for us is the summer holidays in Scotland, but I still think it's off-peak because it's like 3 weeks before the main summer holidays for the rest of the country. In our welcome pack, we were given the times of 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. so we can go any time in between then for breakfast. Then it was 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. for dinner. So most of the days we were quite late getting to the restaurant, but we got there around 6 p.m. most days, apart from one night, and we did make it there for 4 p.m. and there was no difference in how busy it was once we got there. Once you go in, they scan your key card and it tells them how many people are in your party. Then you just go and get a tray and it's a buffet style dinner. They did have a lot of different options, and at dinner we found that it changed every single night. They always had a soup and a salad bar. Then you had the children's section, a main section. There was a vegetarian section and then an area for puddings too. There's also machines where you can make coffee. They have apple, orange, and I think it was lime juice available too, and they all come out of machines. So one of the things that we were quite worried about is if the children would eat the food there. But they did always have something available that the children liked. So this was fish fingers and chips. Another day it was chicken nuggets and chips. And every single night they had pizza there. Other than that, all of the choices changed. So they always had different things available. So there was curry, one night there was chili, there's quite often a Sunday dinner, and we did find that they swapped the meats in and out. So this started off as turkey, and then later on in the evening it was beef. This was the vegetarian area. Again, they always had lots of different options there. For pudding, they had cold and hot puddings. So there was these cakes. The cakes were the same every single evening, but they were really good. Like, we tried all of them, and every single one of them was really nice. Then they have hot puddings too, but we found that these always go really quickly. So whenever we got there, because it was quite late, it was almost gone, apart from one of the nights when we got there early. So whereas everything else gets replaced, because once the food starts running out, they do replace that quite quickly and quite often. Even when it was getting close to 7 o'clock, they still came round and asked if everybody was done or if anybody wanted any more. The trays kept getting replaced once they ran out. So it was only really the hot puddings that we found that were not replaced quite often. We were always able to get a table. There was one night when it was quite difficult and the tables hadn't been cleared yet, so there wasn't anywhere big enough for us to sit. I think, to be honest, that's mainly because there are so many of us. The fact that we needed two tables, two of the larger tables, quite close to each other, that made it a little bit more difficult. But every single day we managed to get in there. The food was good for what it was. It wasn't amazing. It's not fine dining, of course, and it wasn't terrible either. I think it's just mass-produced food, and you can tell that it is mass-produced food. So you can't expect too much from it, but every single night, everybody was able to find something that they enjoyed. And considering there's so many of us, I do think that is quite difficult sometimes. So they had that many choices and options. There was always something available. There was also an ice cream machine, which the children absolutely loved. They compared it to real ice cream that you get in the ice cream van, and it had sprinkles, marshmallows, lots of different toppings for them to put on there, so many different sauces. So that was a really big hit with all of the children. They enjoyed being able to go up and make their own ice cream. For breakfast, it wasn't the same as dinner. Every single morning there seemed to be the same items. So they had a full English breakfast every single day. Bacon, eggs, sausages. There was boiled eggs and fried eggs and scrambled eggs. Again, the scrambled eggs seemed to run out really quickly, but the rest of the food kept being replaced. It kept being brought out all the way until 11 a.m. They also had pastries available, so they had pancakes and they also had mini croissants. There was a cereal area. There was a bowl of fruit, which again kept getting topped up, so there was always something there. And there's also a little station where they had toast being made with little jams and marmalades and everything you could think of, which was one of Caleb's favourites. Again, it was really hit and miss with the food. Some of the children liked it, some of them didn't, but by the second day they had figured out what they liked and just kept going back for that. They also had vegetarian options there too. The children are already talking about going back again, and we would definitely go for the food court dining, as it worked out really well for us. We didn't have to cook, and it was just a lot easier all round.